A strange sighting is baffling Hill Country Village residents tonight.
I've seen, and it's a big cat, but I just never seen one like it.
And I looked out into the yard and I looked right here and I saw this animal. I thought, what is that?
Because I was here and it was crossing the street from that empty lot into that house.
The animal, some bones had been left behind from something that it ate right over in that corner again. The woman who lives here wants to know.
Encounters with the unknown have blurred the line between reality and nightmares. But thanks to cameras, we've managed to capture the unexpected and terrifying moments of these cryptids. Today's video is all about such moments, whose explanation is still a mystery. In the Appalachian Mountains, two extremely skinny humanoid creatures were captured slowly crawling on the ground. The one in front had something human-like hanging from its mouth. In the next shot, they were briskly walking, seemingly noticing the trail cam. The footage is deeply unsettling, especially because of the mysterious way these things move. Some believe these beings are skinwalkers. They are known to have the shape-shifting ability, so they disguise themselves using the skin of humans and animals. Others think they might be another type of cryptid, or perhaps something entirely different. Humanoid frogs. Late at night, these workers were exploring an old palace. To their surprise, they encountered some bizarre creatures lurking in the shadows. These beings were perched on the palace walls, sitting like frogs with human-like bodies. However, at this point, they realized the most bizarre thing. They had no heads. The tourist watched in astonishment as the creatures leaped effortlessly from one side of the wall to the other. Once on the other side, they began to hop around like frogs. But how were they alive without their heads? Chicago alien. One foggy night in Chicago, some friends were just wandering around when something strange appeared on the streets. It looked like a strange being from another planet, tall and wrapped in what seemed like white cloth. The way it moved was odd, almost like it was unsure how to walk on two legs. People on the streets stopped and started with a mix of curiosity and fear in their eyes. It walked down the street with silence. They were mystified because they had never seen anything like this before. They even wanted to capture it. The creature was able to sense the tension as it suddenly ran into a nearby alley and quickly vanished. Was it an alien? A ghost? Cryptid of Arizona forest. Some hikers were hiking through the dense forest of Arizona when suddenly they stumbled upon something truly bizarre. They found themselves face to face with a strange being. It was gray, walked awkwardly, and had a large, heavy face with odd features and human-like teeth. Its mouth was open, revealing those teeth and its eyes. One with a red and white patch were fixed on the hikers. To top it off, it had an oddly shaped arm and unusual nostrils. Two of the hikers were sure that it was a skinwalker. The creature didn't seem dangerous, just curious. It tilted its head as if trying to understand who these new visitors were. The hikers realized the importance of this find, so they quickly snapped photos and videos. Before they knew it, news of their discovery spread like wildfire. Yet still not able to identify that cryptid of Arizona. Texas cryptid. One clear night in Texas, a group of friends was out for a walk when they noticed a strange glow in the distance. Curiosity got the best of them, so they decided to check it out. As they got closer, they realized it wasn't a person, but a bizarre humanoid being. It had glowing eyes, long, sharp ears, and a bulky body with thin arms and legs. To top it off, it was naked and sitting near some stairs. The creature noticed the friends and stood up, starting to walk toward them. They were frozen in place. The creature kept moving toward them, but then stopped. Studied them for a moment before disappearing into the darkness. In the following days, they shared their photos and videos, which quickly went viral. Cryptid with horns. Now, if you are a supernatural enthusiast, you probably know about La Isla de la Mancas forest in New Mexico. This place is famous for dolls, but these guys found something else there. One dark night, a group of friends set out with flashlights into the deep forest. As they roamed through the dense trees, their lights suddenly caught something strange, a mysterious creature lurking in the shadows. It was white and walked like a cryptid. What's weird about this thing is if you slow down, it seems to be wearing a mask with horns. The flashlight beam startled him, and it darted towards them. After that, the video was just blurry, so we don't know the fate of these young men. Mexican giant. Next, in this previously unexplored cave of Mexico, a group of archaeologists was busy uncovering ancient artifacts. While exploring, one of them spotted something unusual far inside the cave. It looked like a giant standing in the middle of the cave. It was looking at them. For a few tense moments, the giant stared at her and her colleagues, who had now gathered behind her. They were equally stunned. However, to their surprise, the giant turned away and continued its activities. The cave was incredibly high, with the giant's home set in the middle, almost like a throne room. Could this giant be a guardian of the cave? The team documented everything carefully, knowing this encounter could rewrite history. Cryptid in Brazil. On one dark evening in Santa Cruz do Carabi, Brazil, a couple came across this bizarre scene. They noticed this weird-looking thing moving among the trees. The creature was dark and mysterious, and seemed completely absorbed in whatever it was doing. Eventually, their curiosity got the better of them, and they cautiously approached for a better look. What they saw was beyond their imagination. It was an actual cryptid. These are not common in Brazil, so this really was a huge deal to the locals. Alien in cave. Deep in a remote Hawaiian cave, a group of hikers discovered something unbelievable. The group was there for their yearly retreat. Their flashlights revealed a strange figure that looked like it came from another planet. The creature had a face like an alien, with large black eyes that seemed to absorb all light. Its skin was greenish, and its body was thin and fragile looking. Its most fascinating feature was its long head, which stretched back in a way that defied natural human form. The creature moved cautiously, looking around as if trying to understand its surroundings. The thing continued exploring the cave, touching the walls and examining rocks with curiosity. The hikers thought it was probably on a mission to collect geographical data on Earth. Signaling figure. In the darkness of Indian roads, some people came across this thing that gave them the creeps. There in the middle of the path stood a strange figure. It was pale and thin, with long arms and a head that looked oddly shaped. The driver slowed down to get a better look. The figure didn't move, casting a strange vibe over the quiet surroundings. There was only the light of the car, and the figure seemed to be gesturing, as if signaling the driver to go another way. The driver was unsure what to do, so they paused briefly, then made a quick decision to drive past the mysterious being. Imagine how many sleepless nights he must have had after that. London Park encounter. One evening in 2021, some employees of the Bank of England decided to visit London Park to see if the supernatural stories about the area were true. They brought a camera hoping to catch a glimpse of these mysterious beings. As they walked through the dark paths, they heard rustling sounds and quick movements in the distance. These creatures had very thin, almost skeletal bodies and moved with fast speed. Suddenly, one of the creatures darted out. It moved so fast. Its thin body seemed almost transparent in the light. The friends stood frozen, watching as it moved quickly, disappearing into the shadows. rake encounter. Arizona forests really harbor a lot of unknown creatures. While taking a tour through Arizona's dense forest, some visitors from another state saw something strange. Among the trees, they noticed a weird figure standing on a branch. It looked almost human, but had a strange presence. Speculation arose among the hikers. Was it a witch, or perhaps something else? One of them even said it could be a young Bigfoot, considering they are seen in these areas. The figure seemed to be engaged in some kind of ritual, gesturing and moving its arms in strange ways. Giant spider sighting. Rogo Niska is a very beautiful village in Croatia. Back in 2012, a tourist from Italy was taking a stroll when behind a hill he came across a massive spider. Others saw it too, so we know it was real. Fear spread quickly, and soon police and army personnel rushed to the scene. The population was evacuated for safety, and helicopters from the army circled overhead, causing the spider to react nervously. Interviews with witnesses and experts began as people tried to understand the presence of this gigantic spider. It stood imposingly on the hill, dwarfing everything around it. As night fell, the spider retreated back into its hole, leaving the community terrified and authorities on high alert. The incident left a deep impact on the local population. Can you imagine seeing this on your vacation? The rake. Late one night, farmers in South Africa were working in their fields when out of nowhere, a mysterious being emerged and dashed across the fields. It had a body like an ape, but its movements were quick and elusive like humans. Could it finally be the Bigfoot? But there has never been a Bigfoot sighting in South Africa. The farmers watched with surprise as the creature quickly disappeared into the darkness. They couldn't quite believe what they had seen. News of the sighting spread quickly among the locals, and they were quick to assume that it was some legendary being like rake. Others thought it might be an escaped animal. What do you think? Encounter with a ghost. These people ventured into an abandoned building in Scotland one evening, as they were curious to explore the unknown. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, with creaking floors and shifting shadows that made them uneasy. Suddenly, their attention was captured by a creature that seemed more of a ghostly figure emerging from the darkness. Its skin was unnaturally white, and its eyes glowed faintly. It moved silently, almost gliding across the dusty floor. This thing gave everyone chills. The creature seemed determined to follow them. Fear gripped the group as they scrambled to escape from the approaching threat. It was looking behind the wall. Bigfoot in the rainforest. In the rainforest of Peru, back in 2019, some explorers came across an amazing sight: Bigfoot. This legendary being was just huge. It was easily snapping tree trunks and knocking down others as it moved through the forest. The explorers stood amazed, watching as Bigfoot navigated the dense area with ease. Each tree it encountered seemed like a small obstacle in its path. Its massive size and powerful movements were a reminder of the mysteries that still exist in the wild. Some people on Reddit said it was probably a human in a Bigfoot costume. But my question is, how was it snapping the trees like that? No human could do this so easily. Cryptid in the woods.
There's another one there. Look at what is that?
Back in 2021, in the quiet depths of the woods in Virginia, a man was walking along a trail, surrounded by trees. As he walked, a sudden movement caught his eye. a glimpse of something thin and fast rushing between the trees. If it were me, I would have run from there. But not this curious person. He moved deeper into the woods. He reached a clear spot where he could see it. It was a cryptid creature, incredibly thin and agile.
There's another one there. Look at. What is that?
It looked very familiar to Dobby. The figure was doing something and it turned and spirited away, vanishing into the dense undergrowth before he could react. The man breathlessly stood there, realizing he had encountered something extraordinary. Mutated mystery.
The hell is it? That is insane.
Some family members went fishing by the river one sunny afternoon in Ontario. As they reached their favorite spot, one of them noticed something unusual on the rocks. It looked like a doll lying among the stones. They went closer and were shocked to find it wasn't a doll, but a strange creature that resembled a developing fetus. Yes, you heard that right. The tiny figure had a head, face, ears, arms, and legs, although its legs were fused together. The friends were unsure what to make of this bizarre discovery. The thing was small, but it weirdly resembled a mermaid. Can you see that too? Mutant werewolf. Moving one, we have two friends traveling through the fields at night in Wales. Now, we have to remember that there had been multiple rake sightings in this area before. There were no lights on the road, only the headlights of their car cutting through the darkness. In the distance, they noticed something strange standing ahead. This creature seemed to have ears and long hair that reached its neck. At first, the being had its back turned, but when it saw the headlights, it slowly turned to face them. It stood there for a moment before bending down on all fours. The friends were struck by how much it resembled a werewolf, but this one looked like an actual mutant version of a werewolf. Slender Man encounter.
Oh, hell no. That's crazy.
On a strange night in a quiet Russian neighborhood, residents saw this creature with incredibly long limbs climbing up the side of a building. Its dark shadow against the moonlit sky sent shivers through everyone who saw it. Its limbs moved strangely, almost like they were defying gravity. It looked dark and shadowy against the pale moonlight, making it both mysterious and terrifying to those who witnessed it. As news spread, people started speculating. Now, some thought there could be a plausible explanation for this, but many others were sure that it was the Slender Man. People even came out of their homes, hoping to catch a glimpse of this weird being. Authorities were called, but by the time they arrived, the creature had disappeared into the night. Safari encounter. In this next safari adventure, a group of zoologists set off to observe animals in their natural surroundings. As they ventured into the thick bushes, they noticed something unusual moving among the plants. Now, this is where things get interesting. The creature they spotted was crawling slowly through the bushes. Its appearance was unlike anything they had seen before, with bizarre features and a strange way of moving. The zoologists were both intrigued and cautious as they approached. At this point, they were ready to capture this mysterious being. It seemed aware of their presence, but continued its quiet journey through the safari without disturbance. Even now, the identity of this thing has not been identified. Alien in the backyard.
What do you want?
In Australia, a man was busy doing some work in his backyard when he heard a peculiar noise at the back door of his house. It was pitch dark outside. This made him curious, so he switched on his torch to investigate and was stunned by what he saw in the bushes. There, hidden in the shadows, was a creature with a mysterious appearance. Its head was oval-shaped, and its eyes glowed with an unsettling light.
Oh, whoa. Standing right there.
It had a long, slender neck that added to its alien-like look. The encounter left him wondering if he had just seen something straight out of a legend. As the torchlight flickered, its alien characteristics became even more visible.
Holy crap.
Goatman. One dark evening, Sergio from Madrid went on a hike up a rocky hill, just for some adventure. As he climbed, the shadows were playing tricks on his eyes. Suddenly, he saw a strange glow coming from a big rock up ahead. He was curious, but he couldn't resist checking it out. As he got closer, he saw this being with horns that looked like a goat's, but with a huge muscular body. Its eyes were glowing brightly in the dark, making it look surreal. Could it be the Goatman? Or is it a sinister mutation scientists don't want us to find out? Tallest alien. One evening, a group of friends were exploring the Escaline Hill in Rome. With their cameras in hand, they noticed something odd in the distance. Zooming in, they saw a huge figure moving slowly. This creature was as tall as a nearby tree, and moved in a way that was both slow and graceful. The being moved with a strange, steady rhythm, almost like it was drawing a bow. It looked humanoid, but was more hairy than humans. Could it be the Bigfoot? They kept their cameras trained on the creature, capturing every moment as it quickly made its way down the hill. In just a few minutes, it had covered a lot of distance. They couldn't agree on what they were seeing. They watched as it continued down the hill, eventually disappearing from sight. It didn't look like any animal they knew. Was it really Bigfoot, or some tall alien was on a hill that day? Alien sighting. One quiet night, a homeowner in Detroit was puzzled by his motion sensor lights constantly flickering on and off. He couldn't find anything unusual around his property, so he decided to check the security camera footage. As he reviewed the footage, something caught his eye. There in the dark, a strange figure appeared. It looked like an alien with an oval head and big black eyes. The creature moved silently, its strange body making it even more weird. It seemed to be doing something in the backyard. Maybe it was trying to hide its prey there. If I came across something like this, I would simply move. Strange woman on the pillar. In an old building, a woman dressed in a flowing white gown with long hair trailing behind her was seen climbing up a pillar. It wasn't an ordinary climb. She moved in a very creepy manner, almost like she was gliding. Her movements were so unnatural. It was wearing a white gown. Onlookers couldn't help but watch in shock and fascination. As she reached the first floor, they wondered if she might be a witch. Her appearance and the way she moved were nothing short of mysterious. She continued her ascent without a sound, finally disappearing into the shadows of the first floor. People couldn't stop talking about the bizarre sighting. Was she really a witch? Because a normal human cannot do what she did there. New Zealand mystery. This next video comes from the woods of New Zealand, where something extraordinary happened in 2022. A group of friends were out for a late-night trip when they saw a mysterious being under a large tree. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. Its skin was pale white, its eyes almost glowing in the dim light. At first, the friends were frozen in place, unsure if they should approach or run. The creature, though strange, seemed calm, just sitting there as if it was lost in thought. Curiosity got the better of them, and they got closer, trying to get a better look. The creature's features were unlike any animal or human they knew. As they watched, the creature turned its glowing eyes towards them, but it didn't move. It just continued to sit quietly. Garden visitor. In Michigan, a man named John had been noticing something strange in his garden every night. He was too scared to check it out, so he stayed inside, hoping whatever it was would go away. But one day while he was working in his yard, something on the lawn caught his attention. As he approached, he saw a strange creature hiding behind the wall. It looked unlike anything he had ever seen. The creature peeked out cautiously, and John managed to capture it on video. But then, without warning, it rushed out from behind the wall and started running towards him. Panic came over John, and he dropped his camera as he turned to run away. To his relief, the thing stopped following him and disappeared. unexpected visitor. One stormy evening in 2015, some men gathered on their front porch to capture the spectacle of a thunderstorm in Portugal. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the street with bursts of light. Amidst the excitement, something creepy happened. Suddenly, amidst the flashes of lightning, a dark winged figure appeared. It looked like a devilish being with wings that seemed to absorb and redirect the storm's energy. He ran inside and tried to watch the footage to get some clues about the devilish entity. Some declared it was a vampire, while others claimed it to be a demon. However, none of them is still sure where this thing came from. Strange forest creature. These two siblings were sitting around a campfire in woods in Arizona. It was dark and quiet, with only their fire glowing. Suddenly, they heard a strange noise coming from behind a tree nearby. Curious and a little scared, one of the siblings cautiously approached and set fire near that tree. As they moved closer, they saw a weird-looking animal emerging from the shadows. It had big, glowing eyes and a face that looked unusual. When people saw this footage, they wondered if it could be the rake, which is famous in that area. It reached out as if it wanted to touch the flames. But would a rake do that? Possessed goat. In the English countryside, there was a man who owned a barn where he kept his goats and hens. Every morning, he'd go to collect the eggs and milk from his animals. One day, as he stepped into the barn, something caught his eye. His goat was standing on two legs and walking towards the feed room. It was a bizarre sight. The man couldn't believe what he was seeing. This goat was moving like a person and seemed almost possessed. The goat turned to look at him with an unsettling stare before continuing its unusual walk. The man stood there, puzzled and a bit uneasy. What could make it act like that? Headless wanderer. The quiet village of Greenfield had to go through some crazy moments back in 2023. It was a sunny day. As folks went about their usual activities, a man dressed in old-fashioned clothes was seen calmly strolling along the sidewalk. He had no head. Yes, you heard that right. His neck just ended abruptly, and he seemed completely at ease with his bizarre appearance. And yes, he was alive. Curious onlookers were just unsure of what they were seeing. Others kept their distance, whispering and trying to make sense of the sight. Could this be real, or was this a deliberate prank? Montana zombie. Out in the outskirts of Browning, Montana, during the summer of 2023, two friends were exploring the woods when they heard some rustle. When they looked, this is what they came across. At first, it looked like a person standing among the trees. But then to their surprise, it dropped down on all fours and started crawling towards them in a creepy zombie-like manner.
Crawling at me like a goddamn... What's up, dude?
They were stunned and couldn't believe it. The thing had pale skin and moved strangely, almost like it was not alive. It was an actual zombie. Luckily, none of them stepped out and managed to leave that place quickly. Forest chase. This next video comes from the dense forest of South Africa, where in 2024, a man found himself running for his life from a bizarre creature. He was there just visiting when something started chasing him. He recorded the entire pursuit on his camera. As he dashed through the tangled trees, the man struggled to keep the mysterious being in sight while filming. Its movements were strange and unnatural. With each step, twigs snapped underfoot. After it was over and the man was safe and sound, he realized that he had come across the Yeti. The mysterious night visitor. On August 5th, 2010, Jenna and her husband Mike were disturbed in their home in Michigan. At first, they thought someone from outside was peeping in their home. This unsettling situation had been going on for weeks. One night, Mike set up the camcorder. Suddenly, he saw two bright flashes of light outside. Curious and alarmed, he went to investigate and saw something shocking. Something strange was moving away quickly, and it didn't look human. When Mike reviewed the footage, he was even more stunned. The figure he captured on film had a strange appearance. It moved quickly and had features that were hard to explain. Jenna and Mike shared the footage with their friends and neighbors, who were both amazed and scared. Some thought it might be a ghost, while others guessed it was some unknown creature. Basilisk from hell. Russians have had their fair share of encounters with the unknown. Most of the Bigfoot sightings have been recorded from that side of the hemisphere. But this one is just different. In Moscow, a news reporter was driving with a dash cam recording his journey. Everything seemed normal until the road suddenly cracked open. A car ahead hit the crack, causing chaos. From beneath the road, a massive, strange creature emerged. It had long spider-like legs and huge wings. The reporter thought it was a basilisk from hell. It was enormous and terrifying. It flew up and landed on the bonnet of the reporter's car. It then smashed the dash cam and then suddenly took off and disappeared into the sky. Many have claimed this to be an edited clip. But what do you think? Merman by the river. Camping is all fun and games until you come face to face with something you have never seen before. A group of friends were camping by the riverbank in a forest in Brazil, searching for firewood in the middle of the night. It was dark everywhere, and they had only a torch to guide them. One of them was scanning the area with the torch when he suddenly spotted something strange near the riverbank. The thing sitting there looked like a man, but something about it was off. It just sat there doing nothing. The man called his friends over, and they were all shocked to see it. They started calling out to the mysterious being, thinking it might need help. But it didn't respond. After a while, the creature stood up and slowly went into the river, disappearing into the water. The first thought that came to their mind was that it was a merman. Park creeper. This family was enjoying a late-night outing in the park's undisclosed location. Two men were swinging at a woman, and everyone was laughing and having a good time. Little did they know they were not alone. A mysterious figure was lurking in the shadows, carefully watching them. The family didn't see or hear anything unusual at the time, so they had no idea who or what this figure was or what it was doing there. The figure seemed to be very cautious, moving around in the dark to avoid being seen. The question remains, was this a paranormal event caught on camera? Or could it have been a person creepily watching the family from the darkness? It's time for today's open discussion. The picture shows a strange creature on a rooftop surrounded by people. This unusual event took place back in June 2015. One day, a person heard strange noises coming from his backyard. When he went to check, he saw something odd on his rooftop. This creature was pale and hairless. Its body was strange with a lower half that looked human, but its tiny, elongated head was very unusual. When the creature realized it had been seen, it froze, unsure of what to do. Then it ran away. Many people in the city have seen these creatures on roofs, which validates their existence. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos.